Hi, so this is the video I've planned for today. It's going to be in 2 or 3 parts, we'll see. And I want to look at the interview between Dewi Evans and Betty George. So Lucy Letby Analysis did a great video of that with the transcript, and it's a nice transcript. But I wanted to hear it in the original language because sometimes you can glean a bit more. And there was some interesting stuff here. And I want to say a big thank you to Chris from Lucy Letby Analysis for actually recording this for me. Because I'm not in the UK, I can't have access to the programme, only live radio. So thank you, because there was a lot to get out of this. The original, the programme, it's like Desert Island Discs. So Betty George, she's an older lady now, so she's like your nice granny or your nice auntie, and I mean that in the nicest way, Betty. And it's a sort of armchair interview. You interview a personality about their life, and you know, they choose a few tunes. So that was the type of interview. And I wanted to hear what Dewi Evans would be like on his home turf. Would he sort of let things slip? Would he you know, become casual and, you know, think he was sort of home and dry? Now, he actually didn't. He behaved pretty well, I've got to say. And I think what's behind that is he's a dab hand at what he's been doing. He's very clever. He's got away with this for years and years and years. He's not going to slip up now. And also he's not going to where he eats, basically. So, yep. And that was that bit. So, we're going to go to the beginning. And I've made quite a lot of notes. So, I mean, look, this could be French or Norwegian or Spanish. I seriously don't care about what language it is. It's just to hear how people, you know, might behave on their home turf, basically. And this is purely in the context of the Lucy Letby trial and conviction. Okay, so she starts off by saying, you know, warm welcome to us. That's her normal introduction, and she introduces who you know, who she's going to be interviewing, who Dewi Evans is, and you know, he's been doing this you know, solicitor, not solicitor, but legal medical cases for 30 years now. Then she welcomes him, and now this is really interesting, because when she introduces the programme and welcomes everyone, this is her normal voice. When she welcomes him, the tone of voice changes, and this is quite significant. And this is why I wanted to hear the original programme, because things like this are actually quite telling. So I'm going to try and imitate exactly what was said and the way it was said. So she opens the programme and says, Croeso cynnes atom ni. No, she doesn't. She doesn't. Croeso cynnes atom ni. So that's welcome to us. And that's normal cadence. When she welcomes Dewi Evans, she says, Croeso cynnes iawn, Dr. Dewi Evans. So you can hear that there's an upspeak when she says that. That is not normal. And when she first says it, Croeso cynnes atom ni, she has a full voice. She has her normal voice. When she introduces Dewi Evans, is Croeso cynnes atom ni. Her voice becomes much thinner. She speaks softly and quietly, and it is not it is not a warm welcome. It really isn't. It's questioning, and you can hear this constriction in the voice, and it's almost like if you know, you go to your teacher and they've got a bit of a bone to pick with you, and they say, okay, can you sit there please? It's not a comfortable introduction, that's for sure. I mean, it sounds like he's a bit of an unknown quantity, and obviously he's got this back history, and she's a bit unsure maybe of him, of how the interview is going to go. But that really was quite telling. And then he says, you know, thank you, Beti. And then is, well, and that's if you're sitting in front of your teacher and you've done something wrong, well, it's an out breath. And so when she says welcome, Dr. Dewi Evans, is that controlled, very controlled quality. It is not comfortable. So this is where she introduces him to us. You've been famous in Wales and beyond. So the pauses, I feel, are a bit significant, because it looks very much like she's reading from a script. I mean, she would be, because obviously she'd be referring to notes, whoever the person was. But it sounds like she's relying on the script a bit more than she otherwise might. So you've become famous, pause, in Wales and beyond, all over Britain, to tell the truth. And then there's a pause. It's like she's uncertain how to say this. You've been shown, you've been on all sorts of websites. Big pause. And then there's a crackle in her voice when she comes to the word comfortable. And she asked, ych chi'n teimlo yn cyfforddus, yn gyfforddus, yn glyn hynny? It's that inquisitorial, almost like the teacher. So, are you proud of yourself? It's almost like that. Do you feel, what she says is, do you feel comfortable in relation to this? And now there could, it's a halfway fair question, because of the nature of the things. He's going to be talking about the Lucy Letby case, because of the nature of what he's going to be discussing. It's very sensitive material. It's also going to be, he's going to be having to observe confidentiality, so there is a good reason for asking that question, but there's almost this incredulity in her voice, and he says, oh yes, and he means, oh yes, he's totally comfortable with it. I'm used to doing interviews, and he totally engages, so he's very, very confident in this interview. Now when he speaks, he's got this kind of monotone quality, and I don't mean this like some people talk in the same tone and the boring speakers. This is controlling the script. It's a way of, you just time your syllables basically, so you keep the pace of everything the same, and you can control the script, and you can talk over other people if you need to. We all know what he's like. So he doesn't really stress a lot of his speech. So he talks a bit about being involved with the Lucy Letby case, going to the trial, and a lot of it sounds what is normal except for what's lacking, and I'll just come back to that in 1 second. What jumps out at me is, that he says the case was stressful. And I think, yeah, I mean, it would be stressful. You'd be dealing with a lot of, stressful and upsetting material, even though in a legal capacity, a lot of it is just a day's work, and I can say that because I've been a legal secretary, and you type out all manner of things, and you just got to get the work in. But even so, you still know that you're typing out some things that have been upsetting for people or been distressing for people. I mean, you're still aware of that. But I mean, the first thing he comes out, it was stressful because I had to concentrate so much, and that's what he says. That's the first thing that was stressful for him. So a lot of what he talks about is, you know, the facts and the figures, you know, all the material statistics, finding the information, which is kind of sort of normal. But what is really, really missing here is any sort of emotional connection. So, you know, he never once said, he never once refers to, you know, a lot of it was very sad or anything like that. So that is actually completely missing. So where he's at, this is Dewi Evans, the man. He's a paediatrician by training. That's been his career. But as he's talking a lot about his medical legal work and his political interests, and this is Dewi the man. His legal work and his political interests, that's where he's really at. And, like, you know, that's okay. We've all got, you know, whatever drives us, that's what drives him. I don't particularly like the direction it's driving him, but that's Dewi the man. That's where he's at, and, you know, where his heart is, if he has a heart. Okay, I'm actually, so I'm going to stop this here. Part 2 will be dealing with something interesting he has to say about the health service, and then there will be a part 3. So, okay, please like, subscribe, and yeah, please tune in for the next part of this video.